How's it going, everybody? Bryan Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, Sundays, 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern, Saturday mornings with Jim Valley, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 Eastern, Sundays with Andrew Zarian. And man, it is Tuesday here on the show. We got a lot to talk about here today. Lance Storm will be joining us here on the program. And we got a lot to talk about because he watched Raw last night. Raw was the go-home show for this weekend's Backlash pay-per-view, which is Saturday night. And it's a busy Saturday. There's also a UFC, so we'll be watching Backlash. There'll be I think a Bryan and Vinny show that night, maybe Sunday, but for sure there's an Observer Radio that night. So we'll talk about all of that. We got the preview, the lineup, the whole shebang. NXT is tonight with 4 things announced for the show. Dynamite tomorrow, also 4. And, of course, we've got the full Raw report as well. And then a bunch of news. Not all good news. Talk about Duke the Dumpster Drosce. And then the pro wrestling, the current pro wrestling stuff, including the Hardys, Joe Hendry, and actually, it's Los Garza, not Los Garzas. We'll be heading to Mexico. We've got some notes on Big E, who is engaged. Shelton Benjamin and Hulk Hogan, what's going on with that? As well as SmackDown ratings, some AEW departures, and as noted, the Raw report. If you'd like to text us here today, 425-780-7566. That is 425-780-7566. F4WOnline@gmail.com. F4W Online, Threads, Instagram, and Cameo. Have you gotten a $10 Cameo yet? If you haven't, you should. And if you did, you should get another one. They're a lot of fun. At Bryan Alvarez, X and Blue Sky. Back in a moment with more Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. Okay, can everyone hear it?
Yeah.
There's a mystery bell at Granny's house. She can't hear it. Take off your headphones for a second.
I had them on wrong anyway.
Okay.
I can't get them on right. What?
Right. Take them off and listen.
You have in your elbow?
Is the fan on a computer?
Nothing.
All right. Well, this is going to be an exciting show.
Gonna have bells ringing through the whole thing, and it's every week. It's got to be me.
Do you have a neighbor that's an ice cream man
No,
practicing out there?
I got a neighbor that smokes marijuana.
I'm sure you do. I guess
Whatever that noise is, I mean, it's still going.
Yeah, it's not going to stop, dude.
Brian, do you want me to get off here and go see if open the door and see if there's anything out there?
You think something's out the front door?
Is he ringing the bell the entire time?
No, Granny, you don't.
Let me in! Let me in!
It's fine. It's fine.
If it's death, don't open the door.
Thank you, Craig. This person thinks it's a stove timer.
Have you burned the roast?
No, I don't have a stove. You want me to just get off here?
No. We're going to barrel through it.
I'd love it.
You're not even doing anything. Granny, Nick says that you've got an old-fashioned analog alarm clock in Terry's bedroom.
I don't know. I got a new alarm clock, battery operated. Is that what she meant?
Well, whatever it is, it's going haywire right now.
Oh, it might be my alarm.
You think?
But it's way back in the bedroom.
Don't worry about it right now. But when the show's over, you might want to go...
That's what it is.
Okay.
Solve the mystery.
Is there a reason you didn't turn it off when it started ringing?
Well, I wasn't in there. I didn't.
Duh.
I took a nap. I took a nap and set the alarm. I thought I shut it off, but I probably didn't.
No.
You probably didn't.
That's life.
I would say with a good deal of certainty that you didn't turn it off.
Brian, that's life around here.
Yeah, I'm well aware. I do the show with Dave, too.
Say,
Hear all sorts of things in the background.
did I do that? You know,
Yeah, you did do that.
or I thought I did that, but I didn't.
In there.
I wake up and I see lights on and I say, I didn't turn those lights on. What's going on?
Maybe the place is haunted.
Could be.
Okay.
It's my brain that's haunted.
Well, I hope not. Instead of suffering through the YouTube chat, click like and subscribe. Man, yesterday I was eating lunch with Hanalei after her preschool, and I was like, I don't know, my stomach feels weird. And I was like, hoping to get what Paisley got, where she barfed everywhere the night before. Barfed 7 times the night before.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, oh, man. So, kept going about the day, and everything was all right, but I was like, man, my stomach feels weird. And then it was time to do the Dave show last night, and man, I was tired. And it wasn't that much. It wasn't that late. It was like, I don't know, 12:30 we started, but I was exhausted. And then I finished up and went to bed, and in the middle of the night I was like sweating, and my body was like, my skin, like, it's weird. My skin felt very sensitive, like all my injuries, like, why does my shoulder hurt so bad? God. And then I was like, I don't feel good. And I woke up this morning, and I did not feel good. No barfing or anything like that. I just didn't feel good. So I took some Tylenol and ibuprofen, and made it through the morning. Felt much better. But I think like right when we started the show, I was like, this is wearing off. So if I have to leave, Lance, the show is in your hands, but I think I'm going to make it. Nothing stops me. We got a lot to get into today. Lance, what was the main event of the I heard the main event was good on Impact this Thursday. I haven't seen it. I only saw that I got all the way through Moose, that frickin' Moose match.
With Zachary Wentz, that was really good.
It was awesome.
And the main event was the Hardys and Joe Hendry against the Nemeths and Frankie Kazarian.
The Hardys and Joe Hendry versus the Nemeths and Frankie Kazarian. Well, I mean, the Hardys and Hendry are going to be heading to Triple A June 15th, Triple Mania Regia, along with Angel and Berto. So this WWE Triple A TNA thing, I mean, we're seeing all sorts of people all over the place. So AAA, obviously, they would have wanted Rey Mysterio, but he's unavailable because he's injured. Maybe others will be added, but right now it looks like Angel, Berto, the Hardys, and Joe Hendry for the June 15th show in La Ciudad Regia, the Regal City, which, by the way, is the same day that AEW and CMLL are running a show in Arena, Mexico, although the events are 560 miles away. So I don't think we have to worry too much about competition there, but that's the plan for that show. Well, we got to talk about old Duke the Dumpster Drosce. Did you ever meet this guy?
Never did, no, and now I'm glad I haven't.
He has been indicted. A press release sent out Monday. District Attorney General Chris Stanford of the 31st Judicial District of Tennessee announced that Mike Drosce, indicted on one count of attempted aggravated sexual exploitation of a minor, alleged that on April 21st he used a Coinbase account to purchase child pornography off the dark web. Transaction was flagged and terminated before the purchase was complete. FBI tipped off regarding the attempted purchase. The district attorney requested the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation Crimes Against Children Task Force to investigate the matter. He turned himself in, released after making the $10,000 bond. Arraignment set for May 28th. He had been working as a DUI coordinator for the district's Adult Recovery Court program, where he had served with the program several years. He was immediately terminated from that position. And, of course, Duke the Dumpster Drosce, wrestled for WWE 1994 to 96. This was back when they had all these goofy,
Gimmicks.
Yeah, there was like a crocodile hunter, and there was a minotaur, a garbage man, bunch of stupid gimmicks. He feuded with Jerry Lawler and Triple H. This person wants to know who bailed him out. Well, according to the article, he posted his own bail. So that's what it says here. But he actually appeared for MLW Battle Riot in 2023. And after that, apparently he had another run-in with the law, as Dave noted last night. This would not be his first run-in. He's still up on the WWE alumni website. Wonder how long that's going to last.
Well, he's always technically an alumni, right?
Well, I know, but I don't think Benoit's up there. I think they can remove you from that alumni session if there's
Well, they can remove you from anything if they feel like it.
issues have come up. There was a September 13, 2013 indictment, 3 counts of delivery of a controlled substance, having sold oxycodone and buprenorphine to an undercover police informant. 3-year sentence, 30 days in prison, fined $2,000. And also, actually, I think Dave, that was 2013, so that was before the MLW deal. I don't see anything else that happened since the MLW deal, aside from this one here. Attempting to use cryptocurrency to pay for photos of child sexual abuse. So that's story, and that's really all we know about it at this point. Congratulations to Big E. He is engaged to Chris Yim, who is the sister of Mia Yim, Meechin in WWE. And so, there's a picture yesterday of him proposing, and now, him and Keith Lee and Meechin and Chris Yim, all related now. So, congratulations to Big E on that, and that's nice to see. You ever met Big E?
I have met Big E, worked with Big E, love Big E, great guy.
I think everybody loves Big E.
Yeah, I think if you don't, the problem's probably you.
Yeah, that happens a lot with people, I've noticed. Hulk Hogan, after he called Shelton Benjamin the wrong name multiple times in interviews, Shelton issued a response. Hogan was on the Pat McAfee show, speaking with TMZ Sports, and he was there promoting his new Real American Freestyle organization, and he kept mentioning Benjamin Shelton. Brock Lesnar, Kurt Angle, and Benjamin Shelton. And he did it over and over, and ended up with Shelton being very upset. You lost me forever with your don't get caught, or as you would call it, apology speech. So rather than screw up my name and pretend we ever had any sort of camaraderie, which we never had, please do me a favor and keep my name out of your mouth, he said. It's referencing a speech Hogan gave to the WWE locker room in 2018 when he was reinstated into the Hall of Fame. It was his return to the company following a 2015 racism scandal where, on a tape leaked years prior, he used the N-word multiple times, admitting to being, quote, a racist to a point. He gave a speech to the locker room, urging everyone to be careful because everyone has cell phones and cameras now. Great speech. And he says he believed that's an incorrect interpretation of his apology. So anyway, MVP also tweeted, pathological lying piece of human excrement. So, yeah. I don't know, man. Benjamin Shelton.
Yeah, I'm on Team Hurt Business in this regard.
Yeah, I think so. Friday's Smackdown, 1.406 million viewers, down 12% from the previous week. Lowest total for the show since April 4th. Third lowest viewership they've done thus far this year. 18 to 49.37, down 27%. Lowest of 2025. They did go head-to-head with a NBA playoff game that did a 1.4 and 4.6 million viewers. and an NHL playoff game, which had a .2 and 644,000 viewers. So there was very strong competition on Friday night, but not great numbers there for SmackDown.
I would think with us getting into the summer, too, and people maybe wanting to do things on the weekends, Friday night television could take a bit of a hit.
Back in a moment with more Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. Well, we reviewed SmackDown yesterday, Tom, and you don't even get SmackDown. You're very, just, you know how you are.
Fine. Whatever. I don't care. Whatever. That's your impression of me?
Yeah, that's my impression of you.
Wow.
So what are we, at least, I hope you at least watch a SmackDown main event.
I watched the entire show.
Okay, because there's a lot of people that still like your review, Tom.
I went on the board, and I saw like 2 people.
Yeah, do you go on Twitter?
Yeah, I do go on Twitter,
You read my emails?
I do go on
The
Twitter.
text messages? I mean...
Do you go on Twitter? Because if you do,
unfortunately, yes.
You would have seen one of the greatest moments in world history.
In world history, really.
World history. Frank Tate walked away the victor of the fight, but he walked away an even bigger winner when it comes to life. This man completed what I would say is the best high five, the best dap up in the history of the galaxy. This man had his dog. And when I say dog,
barely a dog.
I mean D-O-G and D-A-W-G. This was a dog, baby. The dog was so proud. You can see just the elation in that dog's face. He threw that paw up. He let it hang for a few moments, and then he brought it down for the dap.
Tom's not even doing this justice. Everyone has seen a dog, like you put your hand out and the dog like puts his paw up to shake hands. This freaking dog goes, ah, hoppa! Like, what? That was more than a high five. I don't even know what you would even term that. He dunked. He dunked that man.
30 million views on this clip. And that is about 1/10 of what it should have. So if you haven't seen it, you deserve it. Treat yourself. Go to my Twitter. Watch Frank Tate high five his dog.
No, he did not high five his dog.
The dog high fived him.
His dog high fived him. Yes. He just wanted like a, just boom. And this dog was like, no way, brother. You knock that man out. I'm going to give you a big time dunking high five from way up high. You go high five, up high, down low, too slow. This was an up high. Guy should have pulled his hand away.
It's the best thing you've ever seen.
Man, too slow, Joe. Yeah, it was pretty good. Not going to lie. I liked it. The show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Lance Storm joining us here today. And Lance, there was a topic you wanted to discuss on our next show. So go for it.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to introduce, but it was off something you had said last week about how, wrestlers, heels in particular, seem to be more concerned with getting, crowd chants, big responses. And a lot of them have less heat than, say, back in the day. And I just wanted to bring up the point that it's a case of the industry being different in that, if we go back to the 80s, because Hogan's the easiest example, there was that top drawing babyface. And again, you'd have it if you were Bruno, Hulk Hogan, Steve Austin, when Warrior was the babyface champ, when Brett was the babyface champ, that you were expected to have these programs draw on shows. And you made more money depending on where you were on the card. So if I was a heel, I would want to get as much heat as possible so that I might get to work with that top baby face. And if I was a heel that got favorable reactions, that top baby face wouldn't work with me and the office wouldn't want me working with him either, because there was very much the goose that laid the golden egg that kept the company afloat. And you were expected to draw. Paul Orndorff had heat and drew really well with Hogan for all of those shows and all of those events. So he stayed in that top position and made Hogan main event money. But with the industry now, most tickets are sold before cards are even announced, or you
Long
go to
before.
You go to TV, you don't know what the matches are. They don't really do house show programs anymore. And guys are on guaranteed contracts. So getting that 2 or 3 month run as the top heel facing Hogan or Austin or whoever isn't really at play anymore. It's more, if I get a big reaction, I'll get TV time. And if I get TV time and big reactions, I'll be able to negotiate a better contract. So the motivation isn't the same anymore, because if I was a number 3 babyface, it's like, well, if I can get heat and work with Hogan, I can be a number 1 heel. I'll make more money. And the money aspect isn't really in play anymore, because pick the next event, whatever match Seth Rollins is, he's making the same money. So it just changes the motivation of the talent, and it changes the way the office looks at things too, because they aren't worried about who's going to draw best with Hogan, who's going to draw best with Sting, who's going to draw best with, Steve Austin. So when you remove that measuring stick, talent are going to look for other ways to show their value, and interesting, yeeting and singing along are their best way to illustrate their value, I guess, now.
Well, I want to mention that, where is it right here? Let's see, Raw. All right. So if you mentioned that nobody really draws anymore, and I would say that people don't draw certainly the way they used to. Like I always tell the story about how, Hulk Hogan, they announced that Hulk Hogan match at that house show I was at during intermission, and these people leaped to their feet and rushed to buy their tickets for the next event at the box office. And I was like, oh my God. They heard that name Hulk Hogan and they had to buy tickets. And, I don't think things are like that anymore. But, one of the things that it's
an ensemble cast.
It is, but you know what? It's also, when people go like, oh, they're only paying for the brand, they're only paying for WWE, they're only paying for the brand name. That, I don't think that's true. I mean, they are to a degree. Like, if WWE's coming to town, some people are like, I'm going, because, WWE's coming to town. But I think that a lot of people, they don't give enough credit to how over some of these performers actually are. It's a different, like, for example, drawing now is like, you really love Yeaton? Well, Jay's going to come to your town, and all of his merchandise is going to sell out. Like, he's selling a ton of merch. And, it's like, if you're a fan of Jey Uso and Raw is coming to town, like, he's going to be on the show. This is why I always talk about how with, like, Dynamite and Raw, and people always get on me because they're like, well, you get mad if Dynamite's only, advertised 3 matches. But if Raw's only advertised 3 matches, like, why are you not as angry as when? Because it's different. Because on Raw, like, I can go through the Raw, like, roster of big stars here, and even not so big stars like AJ, Austin Theory, Braun Breaker, even a guy like Carlito, Chad Gable, Punk, Dominic Mysterio, Dragon Lee, Grayson Waller, Gunther. If guys aren't hurt, it's like I can run down all of the big stars on this roster. They're all going to be on Raw, unless someone like Rhea is like out of the country. So it's like, it's different because for WWE, if you advertise SmackDown's coming to your town, you will see 90% of the SmackDown regulars when you buy your ticket. Whereas with Dynamite, they're coming to your town. You have no idea who's going to be on the show because they don't do that. You're not guaranteed that Will Ospreay is going to be on the show. You're not guaranteed that Kenny Omega or the Young Bucks, or you're just not guaranteed anything. So in that case, you have to advertise names so people will know, my God, I'm a big fan of whoever, the Hurt Syndicate. You know, are they going to be on the show or not? They do their shows differently. Sometimes in AEW people are there, sometimes they're just not. It's totally different in WWE.
Yeah, I think the way I should word it better, it's like people still draw, but programs and heat aren't the draw anymore. Like Hogan Orndorff drew, where Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker and Jey Uso, they draw in that if they're over, then you want to go see the show. But there isn't that unless Jey Uso is fighting a heel with heat, we're not going to go. It's like, I just want to go and eat with him because he's great and we'll watch him wrestle. And if we'll go see Seth, we'll sing along. And there's that, they're stars, we want to see their act. But in the old days, you had to have heels with heat because it was the programs that drew. Hogan might not draw against a poor heel. So there had to be that heat. And it's just a change in the industry because we're not cutting an angle and then running 60 house shows off that one television angle. We're just doing television everywhere. So you don't have long-standing programs are going to draw. So the heat isn't as required to draw money as it used to. But again, obviously, yes, there are stars and on the whole they draw, but it's not the same level of the way they used to.
Let's see, 36, 37, 38, 39. So, yeah, about I'm trying to do the math here in my head. Anyway,
that's never good.
It doesn't matter. But just a quick glance there of 45 roster members, like 7 or 8 weren't on the show that are not injured, but all the rest of them were there. You bought your ticket to Raw, you saw virtually everybody on that show last night. So, anyway. All right, what else do we have here? Somebody had a question about what's going on with WWE and Triple A and the contracts, and
because of Alberto El Patron.
Yeah, I'll try to talk about that. I got they've been used in Ring of Honor, and now they are gone. So that's the update there. Chelsea Green signed a new contract extension, multi-year deal. And this comes on the heels of her losing the women's U.S. title. And so she'll be around for the long haul. I like Chelsea. People get mad at this, but I find her act miles and miles and miles better when she's not the champion. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's such a comedy gimmick, and it's so goofy. It's hard to take it seriously that she is the champion of the world, or I guess the nation. But when she was no longer the champion and she was doing all that goofy stuff backstage and she fainted and the whole thing, I loved it. Thought it was great.
What was your take on Honky Tonk Man as Intercontinental Champion then?
But that was the whole gimmick. It's he's a geek. And the idea was, because he was a geek, you always, but it's different. It's back then, it's no matter who he wrestled, people were oh my God, he's going to lose it for sure here. And then he wouldn't lose it, and so you'd get all this. Not the case with Chelsea? Heat. But nobody really seriously, when he was the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time, no one took that as a serious thing. He was one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. It was just he didn't get beat for a long time. So.
And how is that different?
It was a goofy gimmick. I was too young back then. I probably would have hated him being the Intercontinental Champion as well. I'd be like, why isn't Randy Savage a champion? Or Rick Rude?
You're older than the demographic of the show.
Or who else? Come on. I don't care if she has a title. I just said it's easier to take it seriously when she's not the champion doing this corniness. She's very good at it. Proud of her for getting a new deal. Good work. Back in a moment. Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. It is the annual Christmas show. We have Big Vinny V as always, who's wearing a hat.
Can confirm.
Sean is here as always. He is not festive at all.
I forgot my hat.
Granny is here. Granny, what's going on?
Hello.
Craig is here, not festive at all.
Yep.
And we have Filthy Tom. Oh boy. Should we do shots now?
No.
I think I should probably watch this for a second. Oh my god. Granny is doing a joyride.
I thought they were going to be here.
A box of tissues. Clearly that was for Vinny.
Scotty's.
How dare you? Yeah!
Who is this? My guest?
Hey, Brian, how you doing?
John in Memphis is on the air, and he is hammered. I'm a cool guy, right? I'm invited to the barbecue. God damn it!
Merry Christmas!
I got sober up for this call.
Yes.
That's a girl.
Oh, is this Harley Cameron?
I
Love
didn't
you.
know. I even put
I
on the
love you.
American accent.
It is? All right, everyone shut up.
Hold on.
You are the most talented performer in the entire business.
Yes, man.
What are you doing in pro wrestling?
First of all, you've been far too generous and kind, and I appreciate you.
I don't think I've ever seen Vinny that happy before.
Bro, ladies and
Yeah, I'm
gentlemen,
gonna open a
welcome to the show today here with Filthy Tom Waller and the Goon Squad.
Tom, what are you doing? I gotta pee. Well, go pee then. Don't do it on air.
Hola,
Way to go.
Hola?
¿cómo estás?
Is this the Beast Mortos? Yes!
That could not go any better.
The Beast Mortos is here on the air. Beast, how you doing? He sounds very agitated, Vinny.
I'm starting to get the feeling this is not a live call with the Beast Mortos.
The Beast is short-circuited. No! That's the moon!
¿Cómo estás?
What is happening?
Hello, Brian.
Is this Don Callis?
Rob is using the Meltzer star rating for his urinal visits. Just so you know, I'm 7 stars, baby.
Ah!
So that's it.
If it's 7 stars, I want to see it.
What? All right. Well, very quickly with this AAA WWE thing. So we have a lot of questions about this. This person here says PW Nexus says they have not signed anyone, and this other person here says, well, WWE hasn't even technically purchased AAA yet, so why would they be signing? They don't even own AAA yet, they said, so why would they be signing? Here's all I can tell you about this, okay? This was originally reported by Ernesto Ocampo of Super Luchas, okay? Superluchas.com in Mexico. And I don't want to disregard anyone else's reporting, but if you don't think Ernesto Ocampo knows what he's talking about when it comes to Lucha, I don't know what to tell you. So he says that Alberto Del Rio, Hijo de Dr. Wagner, Vikingo, La Parca, La Hiedra, Lady Flammer, Lady Maravilla, and Nino Hamburguesa have all signed these new deals. And yesterday there were people arguing this, but he is saying it's true. And the story is that essentially AAA contracts they certainly are not what the TKO contracts are in terms of, there's a lot of provisions they don't have. The feeling is they aren't that hard to get out of. And, TKO wants to avoid guys being taken out from under them probably before everything goes down. So I was told that these are the people that have signed new TKO deals. These are not, WWE is going to buy them, and so they're assuming the contracts. These are new TKO deals, and there are others who maybe have not signed yet, and there may also be others that are not with AAA that are going to be offered these deals. So they want people under solid deals is how it was phrased, like, not easy to get out of, intellectual property rights, et cetera, merchandising rights, that sort of thing. And these are TKO contracts, but they're for AAA. So you're not likely to see Alberto Del Rio in WWE proper anytime soon. And who knows what his future will be, but somehow this guy always lands on his feet. So that is what I believe the story is here. Others have denied that, but that's from Super Luchas. So there you go. What do you think of this Raw show?
It was long.
Sure was, but not that long.
Yeah, I don't know how long it is. I watched it on Netflix, and it's so weird because I watched it on delay, and like I don't know. I started say the show was about an hour in when I started, and they edit out the commercial breaks, even when you're only watching about an hour behind. So it's really weird because, so-and-so will do a dive, you go to break, and the screen just goes black for like half a second, and then it comes back up. But in real time, it's like 4 minutes later. So it's like the other guy's completely in control. Like, things have obviously clearly happened that you didn't see, but it feels like it was 3 seconds ago, which I really found weird. Because even I think at one point they replayed something that happened in the break, and it's like it was a 30-second break. Actually, it was about a 5-second break. So it was odd watching it in that regard. The advertisements everywhere, because the last time I watched Raw, they hadn't started sponsorships on everything. So that was really jarring. Like, for decades of my viewing and working there was a look to the show, the same, and basically that, light blue canvas being a big part of it. It was really jarring to see the different color canvas with all the sponsorship logos and stuff on it. That was jarring.
Well, the weird thing for me is how I love that it skips the commercials on Netflix, but it is weird because when you first turn on the show, it says there's 2 hours and 36 minutes left. So you kind of have in your head, all right, well, I'll be done by such and such a time. But when they go to commercial, it jumps forward in 1 second, but the clock jumps forward 4 minutes. So it kind of throws me off. It's like, okay, there's 2 hours left. Then they go to commercial, and instantly there's an hour and 56 left. And then, so that kind of throws me off a little because it's hard to do the math in my head of how much time I actually have. So I can tell Dave, like, we're going to start at such and such a time. But I have to, try and figure it out. But anyway, it was, I thought it was a pretty good show. And it is the go-home show for the pay-per-view this coming weekend. And in terms of everything, it's like, I thought they did a good job with the Jey Uso storyline. They did the Jey Uso Seth Rollins match for free on television here. And obviously, they're going to run it back again down the road. And I think they just kind of wanted to do something where, A, you got a big unadvertised match, which I don't think they should do this every week, but every now and then, I think they should. Because what you do want people to think, well, I don't want to miss a show because I might miss something big. But at the same time, you don't want to give big unadvertised matches away every single week. So I thought it was good to do it here. And also, I didn't, I hate the stupid finishes, but it was done in such a way that Seth got his world title rematch, or his world title shot here, but nothing was settled, and they can run it back again later. So I thought that was pretty good. Wasn't a big fan of the way they did it with Jay, in the sense that he hit all of his big moves in succession, and Seth just kicked out. And then Seth had him beat with the stomp, but then music distracted him and Punk ran down and we had a DQ. I just thought that Jay is not a champion that you kind of want to make look weak, because he's not really like a super strong champion. He's fine, but, you know, I think that he needs to be portrayed a little bit stronger. I think they should have done something when he hit all of his moves as opposed to the heel just kicking out of it. So, but overall, I thought, you know, the finish aside, which was CM Punk just running in and hitting everybody with chairs, they didn't even call for a bell. It was over. I thought it was a good main event.
Yeah, like I enjoyed it, and I hear this is going to be a common thing, the non-finish, the DQ finish, or whatever the finish was. But that was the one downer for me, in that I felt like I invested an hour into this match, because that opening promo felt like it was a half hour. Maybe it was only 20 minutes, but that opening promo, which was good, and I was entertained the whole time, but it felt like that was a half an hour. And then the match felt like it was a good 20 minutes. And I'm like, I dedicated an hour to this program, and it's just I will assume, a DQ or a no contest. It's like, we didn't even get a bell. You didn't even tell me what the result was. And that was very unsatisfying. And I'm told that that's fairly common. Perhaps if it's not common, then it won't bother me as much. But I did invest an awful lot of time to just have it end the way it did.
But it was worth it for Paul Heyman's promo.
Well, I enjoyed Paul Heyman's promo, but that was only the first 20 minutes.
I thought that promo was freaking great. It's the same promo everybody cuts, but man, oh man, did he deliver that with some gumption.
Well, yeah, and he did do a good job, and I believe this is the first time he's really delved into explaining why he turned on Punk and Roman.
Yeah, and it was a very, very simple explanation, which is that Punk put me in a terrible position, that there was no way to win, and then, you know, Roman took it personally, thinking, what, I'm going to leave him, I'm going to sabotage everything. And so really, you know, in his mind, these two guys were total jerks to him. And this one was not his fault. Roman Reigns in particular, he made this guy, brought him from the island of irrelevancy, made him the tribal chief, and then this guy disappeared after he lost the title. And the way he said, he left me in the hands of Solo. I was like, yeah, he sure did, brother. I'd be mad too. Solo Fatu and the Tongans, they almost ended his career. And then Roman came back, not for him, but for the Ulafala. And he says, I'm always the freaking scumbag, but not this time! Which I thought was just a great line, because he's admitting, I am a horrible person. I've done many horrible things. I've lied. I've cheated. But you know what? Not this time! And he's, like, turning purple. And, you know, normally I don't like a serious thing and then there's some comedy. But when Jay said, are you all right? And everyone laughed. It was like, well, that's an obvious question anybody would ask. He looked like he was about to explode. And then later they had they had a line from Pat McAfee where he just calmly says, Paul Heyman and Braun Breaker back from a trip to the sun. I laughed because they were so dark. It was ridiculous how tan they were. And what about that Pat McAfee? What a promo that guy is.
He didn't turn himself babyface for me, though.
Really?
Well, I'm a wrestler. I go with Gunther.
Well, sure, but I mean, come on. That was an awesome promo that guy cut.
It was again, I couldn't think of a better promo for him to cut, but the football kicker doing commentary, complaining to Gunther, serious, respectful pro wrestler. You can see why I would side with Gunther. So, but it was effective.
You are very much a Gunther type, Lance.
Yes, I would definitely be on Team Gunther.
You ever met that guy?
I don't think I have, actually, no.
Really? How about that? You guys would get along swimmingly, I think. We had Roxanne and Io Sky, which was a great match. These two are so good. Io is so over. As I talked about yesterday, it appears Damage Control is finished. That was kind of the unofficial word I got from WWE. So, maybe Asuka and Kairi are going to return as a tag team, maybe even on a different show. Which, by the way, this is not official, but I believe that the draft may be taking place at the end of the month. So, we're going to be switching some things up there. But this Roxanne is great. And I don't know why she's still in NXT. They do consider her an NXT talent still, even though she regularly works the main roster. But I thought they had a great match, clean finish, and then Julia ended up jumping Io afterwards because we have two things going. We have a match next week with Roxanne and Julia versus Rhea and Io Sky. But also, there will be a Io Sky versus Julia match upcoming. And I guess we'll find out where.
Is Julia still NXT, or is she on a show?
Julia is still considered NXT as well. But I presume that, the official call-ups will be during the draft. Because
it feels so insignificant if they get called up and have their official debut after you've seen them wrestle 6 times on the show already.
Yeah. So I was they're in Tampa for 4 days at the end of the month. And it's close enough to Orlando that they can do stuff with the NXT talent. And I would presume they've got to be, because, as we talked about yesterday, they did get rid of a fair number of women, but they also have 30 women in developmental and that's just on television. That's not counting anyone in Evolve, anyone who hasn't made television yet. And so we are going to see some call-ups coming up very, very soon. And it's time for a lot of these women.
Yeah, there's a good half a dozen or 8 women that are so ready for the main roster.
All right, back in a moment with more Observer Live. Have you grabbed your F4WOnline.com shirt yet? Well, we got a bunch of them. They're up in the store right now. F4WOnline.com/shirts. You can grab your -5 stars shirt, your Dave Meltzer Wrestling Observer shirts, even the brand new After Dark Radio shirt. You love Granny? We have Granny's Gang shirts. Have you ever won a shoot battle royal? Probably not, but you can tell people you did. So check out the store. All of these great shirts and more. It's through Pro Wrestling Tees. F4WOnline.com/shirts. That's F4WOnline.com/shirts. Time flies here on this program. But fear not, we got a lot more coming up. We had Observer Radio for subscribers yesterday. And tonight, today is Tuesday. It's a Brian and Vinny and Granny and Craig and Sean show.
Best show in wrestling.
Mid-South Wrestling Season 6, Episode 23. And, I didn't barf. I made it this far. But the weird thing about it is luckily I've been, intermittent fasting for, a long time, so it's, really easy to fast. Because I should, be getting really hungry right now. And I'm thinking, I ain't eating until I feel really hungry. Let's just play it safe here. But anyway, that's tonight. And later on my X, Twitter, I'm gonna try and find a link because I was told the Mid-South ends 5 minutes early because there's a video they couldn't put on Peacock, but apparently it's on YouTube or something, and it is an absolute must-watch. So I'm gonna try and tweet that out a little bit later on here today. So anyway, Lance, what do you got very quickly?
Impact, Access TV, Sportsnet 360, Thursday nights at 8 p.m.
That's right. And TNA Plus, I hear, not Impact Plus?
Yes, TNA Plus is the app, and it's actually a huge improvement over the old Impact Plus.
Yes, and that
great app.
Show should be up earlier once it's a taped show, right?
Well, actually, for all shows, it should be up in the regular time slot and stay there. There was just a few technical difficulties for the live week this week that screwed things up.
Of course. It was because I decided to watch it that it became TNA again.
But we barreled through, Brian.
Yeah, we barreled on through. Hey, maybe that's where I got it. Those old TNA weekly pay-per-views. Just barrel on through. I wanted to throw myself over a barrel watching those shows. Isn't that some old saying? Hey, we're out of time, everybody. We'll see you tonight on the Brian and Vinny Show. Check out Observer Radio yesterday, f4wonline.com/new if you've never signed up. And also Spotify, YouTube, and Apple. f4wonline.com/Spotify, f4wonline.com/YouTube, f4wonline.com/Apple. $9.99 a month. Check them out. And back tomorrow with more, including After Dark. We'll talk to you next time, Wrestling Observer Live.